Welcome to the Survive Scale Soar podcast. Hear and learn through the success of others how to build the life and business you deserve. Learn to overcome failure, what it means to seek out growth, and how to become the best possible version of yourself. And now, here's your host, coach, entrepreneur, husband and father, and author of the #1 best-selling book, Survive Scale Soar, Jeremy Williams.
And welcome back to the Survive Scale Soar podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy. And just a quick reminder that this show comes in two formats: real talk, where it's just me and the mic talking about what's happening in the world and how that can impact your business. And then I have success talks, where I have the opportunity and the honor to interview some of the top people in their respected industry, and they share with you what makes them successful. Today is a real talk, and I want to talk about an event I went to yesterday, and I was a guest speaker. Honored to have this opportunity with Inked Real Estate out in the Woodlands, Texas. They serve the greater North Houston area, so the Woodlands, Magnolia, Tomball, Conroe, Willis, New Waverly. And I went up there talking about what agents need to do in order to lead generate in a market like today. And I think they thought I was coming with something different, or maybe some new technology, maybe the greatest and best thing since sliced bread that's recently come out. And what I shared with them is that people today are looking for connection. They're looking for relationship. Real estate is still a relationship-based business. So while there's a lot of tech out there that could support us, what I see a lot of agents doing is trying to replace the prospecting, that relationship building. That is critical to the part where somebody's got to be able to trust you in order to work with you, whether you're buying or selling a home. And so we talked about OG methods. So going old school. Talked about door knocking. We talked about going to and hosting open houses. We talked about developing leads through our vendor partners. I talked about hosting community events. Maybe a cookout in the cul-de-sac where we invite all the neighbors and we have property flyers or information flyers about what's happening in that specific market, and in introducing yourself as the expert agent for your neighborhood or for the neighborhood that you're prospecting. And I think there was some relief in the room when we started talking about these methods, because they essentially understood them. Even the agents that were brand new understood these different prospecting methods because they've been around forever. It hasn't changed since the beginning. There's been door knocking since the beginning. There's been making your phone calls, and I'm blessed to have the opportunity to talk with some of the top people in the industry. In fact, some of them are on this podcast in previous episodes, so I encourage you to go back and listen. And one of the questions I had is, what should agents be doing in today's market to be successful? And the answer time and time again has come back to working your database, working your sphere of influence. If you don't have a sphere of influence, what are you doing to develop that? Working the database, not necessarily going out and spending and getting all these so-called leads that a lot of them don't pan out, or they take so long to develop that most agents don't put the systems in place at the beginning, because they don't come to fruition until 6, 8, 12 months out. And if an agent doesn't have the right systems in place, they've missed that opportunity. And so we talked about just building relationships, working the database. And that's what these top people in the industry are saying that they're doing with their teams that are closing hundreds of homes a year. And so I'm going to encourage you, if you're listening today and you're a real estate agent, whether you're new or seasoned, is to avoid the shiny object, the squirrel that comes in. Everybody will say, hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread. It's going to take this off your table. I think a lot of times the word leverage is overused, and they're like, you could leverage your lead generation, activities. And that's probably the worst thing that you could leverage. If somebody says leverage your lead generation activities, unless you've got other members on your team that are doing that for you, but leveraging it to a tool, then that's probably not the greatest advice. And so go back to doing those things that have always worked in the industry, things like door knocking, things like just answering your phone. One of the agents yesterday, I said, what do you think you should be doing in this market? And she said, answer your phone. It is amazing to me how many agents you can call and they don't answer their phone, or, maybe they're with a client, so they can't answer at the time. I think that's important too. Yet they don't get back, or like 3 days later, hey, I got a phone call from you, and just following up. By then, that person's already made another decision. So I'm going to encourage you today is to look at your business. Are you chasing things that are shiny objects, or are you doing things that are going to build you a business that lasts and that you can build upon? And that's going to be done through relationship building, networking, finding your people and helping them and letting them know, most importantly, letting them know that you can help them in real estate, whether it's buying, selling, or investing, letting them know, hey, I'm here, I'm the expert, I'm going to take care of your family. You can trust me in the process. Share your knowledge. That was another thing we talked about, is be knowledgeable of the market. Somebody asks you, how's the market? The answer should be great, followed by a question, why do you ask? They're asking for a reason. If you ask, why do you ask? They may tell you, hey, we're thinking about selling a home, or hey, we have a friend down the street that's thinking about getting their home ready for the market, or, we thought about buying a second property, investment property. A lot of times we'll just say great and move on. And we forget to ask the most important question is, why do you ask? So little things that you can refine and work on. This is a time where skills are really important, and your database and working that database is absolutely important. So I hope this helps you today. I know people in the real estate industry get bombarded with all this stuff time and time again, and it's just a shiny object. It doesn't do anything to truly build a business. And we have to remember that in a transaction such as this, a large transaction, probably the biggest transaction any of your clients will ever have is buying or selling a home, is they're going to want to have a person that's knowledgeable and somebody they can trust and somebody that they've built a relationship with. So I hope this helps you today. Stop chasing after the squirrels. Start doing OG stuff when it comes to lead generation. And I guarantee you, if you stay the course, you're intentional, you're consistent in your activities, great things are going to happen for you and your business. And until next time, onward and upward.
Thank you for listening to the Survive Scale Soar podcast. If you heard something that made a difference in your life today, share it with someone that might benefit, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Learn more about the host of this podcast and coaching services offered by Red Hawk Coaching by visiting www.redhawkcoaching.com.